Hello everyone. Myself Professor Vineet Raut from Computer Engineering Department of Viva Institute of Technology. In this video lecture, we are going to see how to use Virtual Lab Simulator and one small experiment of memory designing. Virtual Lab Simulator is provided by IIT Kharagpur as an initiative in Virtual Labs. This simulator is used for subjects or courses such as computer architecture and computer organization, processor architecture lab, digital logic design and analysis, digital electronics, etc. So, where you can find this virtual lab simulator that I was talking about. So, here is a website that is vlab.co.in. Okay, this is an initiative of Ministry of Human Resource Development under the National Mission of Education through ICT. Okay, so here there are various streams, and you can choose your stream for performing various virtual lab experiments. First, we'll go to the computer science and engineering. Here you can find various labs are there, like database lab is there, computer graphics lab, and so on. Okay, so you can practice your experiments virtually over here. We are going to select this lab, that is computer architecture and organization lab. Okay, so as you can see, this is provided by IIT Kharagpur. They have developed this lab. Here you can find various experiments. You can see there is ripple carry adder, carry lookup adder, which comes under the subjects like DLDA and computer organization and architecture, okay, Booth's multiplier, and so on. Okay. Now, where you can find this simulator? So you have to go to the software tab. Under this, at the end, you can download this version, that is 32-bit Linux version or 32-bit Windows version as you require. Okay. There are steps also given how to use or how to run that simulator. This is a Java-based simulator. Now we'll move to the simulator. Okay, so this is the simulator. If you have Java installed, then this will run automatically. This is just one file. Now, as you can see here, uh, there is a buttons like open button is there, save for saving the project, save as component. Once you make your design, and if you want to make it as one component, then you can do it from here. This is a button for running after you complete your experiment, and if it is a combinational circuit, then you can run it from here. uh, if your circuit is sequential, then there is a clock provided. There is start clock and stop clock is also provided over here. This is for zooming. This is for showing the pin configuration. There are various components over here and various circuits, you can say, and if you want to see the pin configuration of that, you can use you can see that pin configuration with this button. You can on and off this grid. Okay, so we can on and off this grid, and so on. Okay, at the right side you can see here there is a palette where different gates are there, different circuits are given there. Tools for connection, selection, cloning the tools are given over here. Okay, circuits and labeling, you can see here there are various logic gates present over here. Okay, then for input and output, these are the uh, components that are given. That is bit switch. This is used for giving input in 1-bit form, and it is a toggle. That is by default it shows logic 0. When you double click on it, it shows you the logic 1. A digital display that shows the output in digital format. A bit display that shows output in single bit as a 1 or 0, and a clock pulse is there if you want to use it in a sequential circuit. There are adders are there, half adder, full adder circuit is there, 4-bit adder subtractor circuits are there. So there are so many built-in components are there to use. Then in sequential circuits, you find different flip-flops, RS flip-flop, D flip-flop, T flip-flop, JK flip-flop, and so on. A Booth's multiplier circuit is also there. In other components, you find decoder, multiplexers, comparators, ALU, RAM. Okay, we are going to use this RAM cell and some components like decoder for the memory design experiment. Then a control unit is there, and a computer design controller is there, and CPU and memory. So you can use this tool for developing this experiments. Also at the left side, you can see you can set a dynamic port circuit. If you want to make a circuit, then dynamic circuit you can create from here. There are built-in circuits provided at the right side. You can see here a 16 terminal circuit is there, 24 terminal circuit is there. In that you can make your design. Okay, or else if you want your own, that I want to make a circuit which has 4 inputs and 6 outputs, then I can use this section to create a dynamic circuit. For giving labelings to some components, you can use this section to give a name or label to particular section to identify what that input or output is doing. For inputting memory, for loading the memory, you can use this section. And this is a controller ASM chart which can be used in some experiments, like it is used in Booth's multiplier. Okay. In this video lecture, the next part is to design a memory. That is, it stores some bits and we can write the bits onto a memory and we can read the bits. Okay, so we'll move to that experiment now. You can find that experiment over here in experiment list. Go to the experiments of this V Labs. Memory design experiment is there. You can click over here. Okay, they have given all the terms like theory about that. What is the objective? Okay, what is the procedure to follow? Okay, so they have made the design like this. Okay, we are going to just create. They have created 4x3 RAM. We are going to create 4x2 RAM. That means it consists of only 2 rows. Okay, so we are going to make design of this much part only. Okay, for the simplicity purpose. But you can, after understanding this lab, you can design this experiment. Okay, so what this experiment is basically doing, it has the single RAM cell that we have seen in virtual lab simulator. This cell is able to store one single bit information, that is either 1 or 0. Likewise, we have taken 16 cells over here. Here, it designs a storage of 4-bit memory. That means at one time we can store 4 bits. Okay, and it goes like row wise. Okay, so this is one single row that can be read or written at a time. This is a second row that can be read or written at a time, and so on. So there are total 4 rows, and every row consists of 4 bit of information. So that's why the data input is in terms of 4 bits. So we can store the 4 bits into this memory row, that is in this memory cells, and we can retrieve the information stored in this memory cells also. Along with that, we require some other components, like we require a OR gate for showing the output, because there are multiple outputs coming from this single column of cells. So that's why we require a different OR gates. Okay. A virtual lab simulator have only 2 input OR gates, so that's why we need to use such kind of structure. We have to use 3 OR gates for each column. So there are data output 1, data output 2, data output 3 and 4 likewise. Okay. Apart from that, you need to use a 2:4 decoder, as there are 4 rows, and at a time we want to select any one row for performing read or write operation. So that's why we are using 2:4 decoder. Okay. So whichever row we want to select, we provide the input from here. That means 2-bit input we provide from here. If we give input from 0, 0, then this row will be selected for either read or write operation. If we give 0, 1, then this row will be selected for read or write operation, and so on. Okay. Now we'll go to the virtual lab simulator for demonstration of this experiment. So again, here is a simulator. If you want to maximize, then you can zoom it from here. If it is not visible, then you'll be able to see the components properly, and you can move grid on and off from here if you want. Okay, so we are turning off this grid. Now we have seen that first we require a memory cell. So from where you can get it? You can get it from other components. Go to the other components. Here you will find a RAM cell, a single bit memory. So you select this, just click this, and you can click over here. Okay, just click it over here. Okay, so this is a RAM cell, single RAM cell. Now, how I will come to know about the pin configuration. So you have to select this, okay, and click on this button. As you can see here, show pin configurations. So it will show you the pin configuration. See here. So what it says, it is a RAM cell single bit memory. Upper terminals are inputs. That means these are the inputs. Bottom terminals are outputs. That means these are the outputs. Bottom left corner circle represents a pin number 1. So this is a pin number 1, and pin numbering is anti-clockwise. That means this is go like this in anti-clockwise direction. So this is pin number 1, this is pin number 2, this is pin number 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 and 8. Okay. Now what are the pins that are useful for this RAM cell? So input is present at pin number 5. So here, from here we can give input. A single bit information can be provided from here. Pin number 8 is a select pin. That means if you want to select this RAM cell for performing read or write operation, then this pin should be 1. Means we should provide an input 1 to this pin, that is select pin. Read or write operation can be performed by selecting pin number 6. So this is that pin number 6. So it is a R/W bar, or so this is means for read operation you have to keep this bit as 1. That means you have to provide input here as 1, and for write operation you have to provide input here as 0. Okay. You can get output from pin number 4. So from this pin number 4 you can get your output. So we can connect a bit display or digital display over here. Okay. So this is a pin configuration of single RAM cell. Okay. Now what we have to do, we have to create 2 rows of 4 cells, 4 columns. That means in single row there will be 4 RAM cells, and there should be such kind of 2 rows for performing this experiment. So first we'll take so 2 cross 4 we require 8 RAM cells. Now how you can bring another RAM cell? You go here, select, and again click over here. So you'll get another RAM cell. Okay, you can drag and drop here, or else you can use this clone tool to make multiple copies of this RAM cell. So I am selecting this clone tool and just drag and drop over here. Okay, just drag and drop. Like this, you can drag and drop. Okay. Again, you can go to the selection tool, and now you can do the settings if you want to move it by giving some spacing. So as you can see, there can be sometimes a problem. So first we need to save this. So you have to click that save button. You can give some name of yours and give some roll number and put enter over here. Then we'll ask to save you. We'll give the name as memory. Okay. The extension will be logic files. You can save it anywhere you want. Okay. So we have saved this file. Okay. So as we know the pin configuration of this. Okay. If you want, you can see it again. Output will be on pin number 4. Input is on pin number 5. Select pin is on pin number 8, and 6 is for read and write. Okay. Now other things we require is okay, we require to give inputs. Okay, that means our data input that we require to give 4 inputs. So for that we require a bits. That is, we have to use this bit switch to provide the data input. As we have 4 input data in one row, we require 4 bit switch. So we can bring it over here like this, or you can use the clone tool. Okay. So by default the value of this bit switch is 0, and it is a toggle. So if you double click it, it becomes 1. Again you double click it, it becomes 0. Okay. Better you continuously save this because there can be sometimes a problem that this window closes. So we'll save this. You have to just overwrite on this file, that is memory. You can save it over here. Okay. Now other things you require is, okay, now where to connect this inputs? You have to connect this input to the pin number 4, that is a input pin. Sorry, pin number 5, that is the input pin. So this pin of every, okay. So this bit switch will be connected to pin number 5 of this RAM cell and this RAM cell, because at a one time it performs a write for this bit. It performs a write on column wise. So it should be connected to both these RAM cells. Similarly, this bit switch should be connected to pin number 5 of these two RAM cells, that is column wise, and this bit switch to this two RAM cells, and so on. Now, how to make connections? You have to use the connection tool. You can see here there is a connection tool, so you can use it. Click on this, arrow will appear like this. So click here and click on the pin where you want to connect. Okay, you have to just move that pin. Okay, it will fix this, and then again click. Now a pink line will appear, so now the connection is made. Similarly, click on this and click here, so and again click once, so now this is connected. Similarly, you have to connect here, this and this, connect here, pin number 5, connect to pin number 5. Okay, again we'll save this. Okay, now this connection is done. So this is for data input that we provided to the each RAM cell, each column wise RAM cell. Okay, now apart from that, we require a read and write operation pin. That means pin number 6 of each RAM cell is reserved for read and write operation, read or write operation. Okay, so read operation can be done by setting a bit switch to 1, and for write operation, you as write operation has this bar. Okay, see it is r/w bar. See the pin configuration. So it is written over here. For read operation, you have to keep bit switch as 1, and for write operation, you have to pass the value as 0 to pin number 6. Okay, as the bar is on W. So 0 for write and 1 for read. Okay, so we take one single bit switch. Okay, we can keep it over here. Okay, and we have to connect this bit switch to each and every RAM cells pin number 6. So connect it over here. Select, click this. Again, click on this pin number 6 of second RAM cell. Click here. Again, click here on pin number 6 of each and every RAM cell. Okay, like this. Okay, so we are connecting over here. Okay. Again, we do save. Okay, so now we have connected this read write pin. Okay, now how you can set label? Okay, go to the circuits and label section. At the end, you will find this label. Okay, click here and just drag and drop. If you want to maximize, you can drag and drop. Okay, so there is name, and give some name over here. That is, this is r/w bar. Okay, and click on label button. Okay, so now this will be edited to read/r/w bar. Okay, so in this manner you can give some name to the input and outputs. So now this is created. Now other things we require is output. Okay, so from where we are getting the output? From pin number 4 of each RAM cell. Okay, so we have to connect it column wise. Okay, so either output of this RAM cell will be displayed or this RAM will be displayed according to the selection of this row or this row from the decoder. Okay, so we have to use a OR gate. As you can see here, in this experiment, you can see here there is a arrangement of OR gates like this, because we have to pass from this column either this or this RAM cells output should pass to this data output. So that's why this kind of arrangement is there. As we have only two cells in one column, we are going to use only one OR gate. Okay, so you will get OR gates from this logic gate section. So here is OR gate. Click here. You can click here for OR gate. Okay, now you have to select this column wise. So again, I'm going to use connection tool. Click here, that is pin number 4 of RAM cell, and connect to any one input of this OR gate. click here. Okay. So using this simulator, you can perform experiments of subjects like digital logic design and analysis, digital electronics, computer architecture and organization, and so on. Okay, so you don't have to any circuit breadboard is not required. Virtually you can do it over here and check the connections and working of this experiment. Okay, so now we have connected the inputs of column wise to this OR gates, and after that we can go for output section. How to see the output? First we'll save this. Okay, so in this simulator you cannot save the file using Control S. Okay, so specifically you have to go to this save button and again overwrite onto that file, so that that much part will be saved if any case any problem occurs, so you don't have to do this thing again and again. Okay, now we have to see the output. So what we can do, we can go to this input and output section here, and there is a digital display. Okay, you can use a digital display, one digital display. I will show you. Just click over here. This digital display have four inputs, so I can attach this four pins like this: 1, 2, 3 and 4, and I can get the output in digital form. Or else if you want to see the output in binary form, as the requirement that we are storing the data from here in binary format, so we want to see the output in binary format. So we can delete this. If you want to delete this, you can select this and click on this delete button, or you can press delete button from keyboard. Now we are going to use bit display. Okay, a single bit display will fine. Okay, so I will use 4-bit displays for showing the 4 outputs like this. Okay, now I make the connection using connection tool. So the output of OR gate should be connected to the top pin of this bit display. Okay, always remember that mostly upper pins are inputs of any circuit and bottom pins are outputs generally. Okay, so again we'll do saving. Overwrite this. Okay, so now this thing is ready. Output is ready, input is ready. We created 2 rows of 4 cells, so we can store the data of 4-bit in 2 rows. Also we have set r/w button for performing read or write operation. Now the remaining part is which row to select. Now there is option like I have to select this row or I have to select this row for performing read or write operation at one time. Okay, so there should be some differentiation between this row selection. So for that I am going to use a decoder. Okay, you can go to this other components you find here at the first place, 2:4 decoder. Okay, see how many rows we have. We have 2 rows. Okay, if we have 4 rows, then also we can use 2:4 decoder, but there is no other option like 1:2 decoder, so that's why we are going to use 2:4 decoder. So I will bring this decoder over here. Okay, so I have kept the decoder over here. It also has 8 pins, same configuration. This circle represents bottom left pin, that is pin number 1, and it goes on anti-clockwise. So this is pin number 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 and so on. Okay, now if you want to see the pin configuration of this decoder, just select this and click on this pin configuration. I can see the pin configuration over here. So this is 2:4 decoder. Upper terminals input, bottom terminals output, same bottom left pin 1, and it goes on anti-clockwise. Where is the input? Input A0 is at pin number 5, so this pin. Input A1 is at pin number 7, so this pin. Okay, and out of this, A1 is the MSB and A0 is the LSB. So you can read from left to right. This is the most significant bit and this is a least significant bit. Similarly, you will get 4 outputs from 2:4 decoder. So output D0 is present at pin number 4. So this is D0. Output D1 is at pin number 3. So it goes like this. So this is D0, this is D1, this is D2 that is present at pin number 2, and this is D3 which is present at pin number 1. So this is the configuration. So we have to just use, as we have only 2 rows, we are going to use only D0 and D1. So this is D0 and D1 that we are going to use, and input is present at pin number 7 and 5. So we require two inputs for 2 is to 4 decoder. So we take again 2 bit switches over here, one bit switch at pin number 7 and another bit switch for pin number 5. Okay, and we make the connection using this connection tool. So click this and click pin number 7, click this and okay. Be careful while connection because there is pin numbers are not mentioned over here, so you have to count and accordingly you have to do the connections. Now we have connected the two inputs. Okay, now we have to connect the outputs. So this is pin number D0. Okay, D0 selects the first row. Okay, that is this row, and D1 selects the second row. Okay, and we know that this for select there is a pin at pin number 8 of this RAM cell. So 8 pin of each RAM cell of this first row should get connected with this pin number 4 of decoder as it presents D0. So this is the input. Okay, see, you cannot make connection from here to here. Okay, it is not allowed. You can check this because this is output. If I try to make connection over here, it won't allow me. Okay, so from output to input only connection can be made. So I can select here and then I can click over here. So now the connection is made. Okay, pink line appears again. Select this is D0. You have to connect this pins to pin number 8 of first row. That is pin number 4 of decoder should be connected to the pin number 8 of all the RAM cells of first row. Now this connection is done. Again we'll do saving if any problem occurs. Okay, now this much part is saved. Now pin number 3 of decoder should be connected to the 8 pin of second row RAM cells. So now do the connections accordingly. Okay, now last connection, that is this. Okay, just do again save, press save button and save this circuit. Okay. Now the circuit is ready. We have done almost every connection. Now we can test this circuit. Okay, now we can check the output. Okay, how it is working. So these are the 4 data inputs where you can set some value, say 1100. I'm setting it to 1100. I want to perform a write operation, so I will keep this bit switch as 0, and I want to select a first row, that is this, so I will keep it as 00. If I select 01, then this row will be selected. If you perform the experiment as given in virtual lab, then you will have 2 more rows. Then you can put here 10, then it will be select third row, and 11 as fourth row. Okay, but as demonstration purpose we are going to use only 2 rows over here. So this is 00, so this row is selected, data is 1100, and read or write operation is 0. So now I will perform the write operation. Okay, so write operation is now performed. How will you come to know? See this, these lines are appearing blue. Okay, so D0 pins are appearing blue and D1 pins are black. That means D0 is only activated, so write operation happens over here only. Now I want to check whether data is stored into this first row as 1100 or not. So I will click this as 1 and I will run this button. Okay, as you can see 110 gets stored into here in this first row. Okay, now I will set another value for second row. I will use 1001. Okay, and I will perform write operation on first row. Okay, so that is 01. I have to select here 01. So now this row will be selected for write operation. Okay, and I will perform write. Okay, now you can see here the color changes. Here the color is now blue and here the color is black. Okay, so now we can check for read operation whether it is written properly or not. So make it as 1 and click here. So now we can see 1001 data is stored into this. Okay, so as this is a RAM cell, if you again want to check for 0, then you might get some garbage values. Okay, like this 1101. Okay, so it is a RAM cell, that's why the data gets lost. So immediately after performing write, immediately you have to check the read whether the data written onto that particular line or not. Okay, so I hope the you'll be able to perform the virtual lab experiments like this using simulator. So you can do it at home also using net. You just require this simulator once to download this simulator, and after that you can perform any experiments. Okay, you don't need any breadboard or any kind of circuit, but just for understanding purpose how it works, you can make the circuits over here. Okay, thank you.